Hey guys, it's Kelly and welcome back to my channel. We are here at the 2022 New York Auto Show. Behind me, we have a 2022 Chevrolet Suburban. It has been hard for me to get my hands on one of these, so I am very excited to have the opportunity to dive into this very popular mom car and review it from a family's perspective. This is your first time joining me. Hey, I'm Kelly and I'm the car mom. I review cars for moms and for families. I'm a mom of two and a certified child passenger safety tech, and I'm going to tear this car apart. We will see how well it functions for a family. Let's start with the exterior. Now in 2020, Chevy did a nice little facelift redesign of all their SUVs that was much needed and well done. I actually adore the exterior of their lineup. I think it looks great. At first, I didn't love the front end, but the more and more I look at it now that it's been a few years, I think it looks great. And I think also, if you compare this to something like the Expedition, this looks so much more current and futuristic. I'm a huge fan of the front end. So let's take a look. We've got some great LED daytime running lights, LED headlights on this trim level, some great hood lines. I mean, it is an aggressive hood. Do you guys see this? The grille is a little basic, but yet still tasteful, and we have a little bit more black elements down there. If we come along to her side profile, she is looking cute. I absolutely love these wheels. These wheels are huge. These are 22-inch rims. I'm loving the contrast of the silver and the black. Really goes nicely with the Chevrolet logo. Blacked out Suburban badging right here. And then instead of chrome, we have all black on this edition. So some black around the mirror caps, black trim, black roof rails, black running boards, body color door handles. And then we get into what is the bus. So basically you can think of the Suburban like, you know how the Yukon has the Yukon XL, you know how the Ford Expedition has the Ford Expedition Max. Well, instead of having like a Tahoe XL, they just have a Suburban. So they're the same vehicle on the interior, you just get more junk in your trunk. It's about 12 inches more of trunk space. Okay, coming along to the back end, they keep it very clean. A little bit of Chevy badging right there, blacked out Suburban on this RST model, wipers hidden up there, and they just keep it pretty simple. Oh, how cute is that? RST. So the exterior, I think it's great. I mean, it's huge. It's definitely a bus. I've driven one. It drives like a bus. But I want to talk about the interior, specifically the second and third row. We'll start with the driver's seat. We'll talk about the cubby spaces, and then we'll move on to the rest of the vehicle. All right, guys, let's start breaking down the interior of this 2022 Chevrolet Suburban. As always, we will start with the door panel. It's honestly kind of boring to look at. I'm going to be honest. Not a lot going on there. A little bit of red contrast stitching. I do appreciate the little side cubbies. I also like this little one right here. Like that's just, honestly, I've had some times where I've had to put a water bottle there and it's worked. A little bit of a faux carbon fiber there, but besides that, they keep it pretty basic. Let's get you on the other side and we'll talk about some more of the features. Okay, let's start breaking down some of these features. Unfortunately, the battery is not on, so we can't like dive into the screen, but we can talk about everything else, starting with our steering wheel. On this SRT trim, keeping it pretty basic. I do like the red stitching. I love this little like textured Chevy logo right here. But besides that, it looks pretty standard. Shifters up here, which is kind of interesting. I love this little leather addition right below the screen with the contrast stitching. Some vents. Still don't know what this is for. I've heard everything. People tell me it's for a handgun. People tell me the craziest things. I don't know what it's for. If anyone has like a real answer, comment below. Okay, and then we move down to the rest of the climate control and the audio control, heated seats, and you can just heat the back, which I think is kind of cool. No ventilated seats on this trim, which is a little bit of a disappointment. Wireless charger, USB, USB-C 12 volt, 2 cup holders, actually look pretty decent. Little phone holder right here, 2 more cup holders with another little cubby as well. Diving into the center console, it's not as deep as I was hoping. It's definitely a nice wide size, it's just not quite as deep. I was just like, I wanted to do something else too, do you know what I mean? Like, we just did the F-150 Lightning and it like folded over. We just did another car, it was like so deep. So like, it's just a little bit black to me, but I do like the design of it. I like having a place to put your phone. I think this texture around here looks nice. The red stitching is fun. Just like looking for just a little bit more. Okay, so that's the cubby spaces. We do have the panoramic sunroof. My head clearance is great. I mean, this is a big full-size SUV, one of the biggest cars that you can get. So now let's get to the second row and then the third row and talk about how it would work for the kids. All right, shot of me in the second row of this 2022 Chevy Suburban. This seat set for myself at about 6 feet tall. Great knee clearance, great head clearance, loving the panoramic roof come back here. We do have ceiling vents in this vehicle, which is awesome, especially for those kiddos in car seats. Climate control, heated seats, 2 USBs, and I believe this is an outlet, which I love outlets, especially for like moms who have to pump on the go. Super helpful. The aisle on this car is great. Normally I don't love captain chairs just because I feel like the aisle is such a buzzkill, especially in the mid-size SUVs, but for a full-size SUV, my body could fit through here, which is awesome. Okay, as far as the car seat setup's concerned, I'm not gonna lie, it's good. It's a little disappointing when we compare it to the Expedition and the Wagoneer. So when you get the captain's chairs, you have lower anchors in this seat, tether anchors in all 5 seating positions, so that's good. I would love to see one more addition of a lower anchor in the 3rd row, because the lower anchor in the 3rd row is what the Expedition and the Wagoneer has, and I just like that because I think it allows families to have a little bit more flexibility. Yes, you can install a car seat just with a seatbelt, but there are some car seats that prefer a latch installation, and I also like latch installations for some of the high back boosters that have a latch just to keep that seat in place. Do just want to break down the 2nd row door panel, very similar to the front. I am missing sunshades, which is a little bit annoying because I feel like for a full-size SUV, you could add a $200 sunshade, but who knows. As far as access to the 3rd row, so you do have the ability to move this seat more forward and backwards a little bit to give that 3rd row a little bit more room, but to access it, it's this lever right here, and then it pops completely open. So unfortunately, no car seat tilt like we also find in the Wagoneer and the Expedition, so I would love a car seat tilt as well. But let's hop into that 3rd row and talk about the spacing. All right, here's a shot of me in the 3rd row of the Suburban. This seat is pushed all the way back, and I still have good knee clearance. So just to give you an idea, you could even move the seat slightly forward depending on who was driving back here. There are 3 seats back here. The middle seat is actually a pretty decent size. Only big red flag with the middle seat is this thing right here, or I'm sorry, the lack of things right here. No middle head restraint on the GM SUVs, which does get a little scary if you think about putting an adult here or a child in a booster seat, because then there's nothing protecting their head from whiplash. So my advice, and I'm not saying I hate this car, my advice for getting this car is to be really mindful on who sits here, or if you have the bench seat, who would be sitting here. Maybe a forward-facing car seat, maybe a rear-facing car seat, or just don't use the seat at all if you can help it, because these head restraints really do protect you in the event of a collision from whiplash, and they're a really big safety feature. So come on, GM, everyone else is doing it. Wagoneer's doing it, Expedition's doing it. Give us a middle head restraint, babe. Some other amenities in the 3rd row. We do still have ceiling vents, which is great. Cup holder, a tiny cup holder, a little storage cubby, and then USB-Cs on both sides, which is great. For me to exit the 3rd row, there's a little button I can hit right here, and it folds it down, and then I just take this tab and pull it up. So not impossible access. I do feel like there's some other vehicles where it is a little bit easier, especially for a child to do maybe back here. So just a little bit of a learning curve. It is a 2-step process, but I do appreciate how easy it makes it to hop out. Just a bummer you can't do it with car seats. Now let's talk about the trunk space. So again, guys, this is the extended Tahoe. Let's see what the trunk space is like. When we have the 3rd row up, I mean, it's awesome. Very comparable to the other vehicles of this size. It looks great. A little bit of an additional storage underneath there. Not much, but still something. You can also put down both the 2nd and the 3rd row from back here, which is awesome. And I mean, now it's a family hauler. I mean, it's not fitting in your garage. I mean, it's hard to take to Target, but you've got the cargo space that you need, people. Power tailgate. And that is going to wrap up this 2022 Chevy Suburban tour. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.